The Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
A News Hour tonight. Panic as bandits strike again, kill 7 in fresh Niger attack. 3 bandits killed in Katsina, victims rescued. Community members drum up support for local government autonomy due to inadequate grassroots development. And on the foreign scene, at least 60 people killed in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo terrorist attacks. Hello and welcome to Trust TV's News Hour. I am Chiamaka Mwafo. The news. At least 7 people have been killed in a fresh attack on communities in Shuru local government area of Niger State. Reports said 2 of the victims, Kabiru Selihu and Abubakar Karaga, were beheaded by the attackers suspected to be insurgents. Among the villages attacked between Thursday and Friday were Lanta, Basa, Kasamani, Makuda, amongst others. Warehouses and domestic animals were reportedly set ablaze. The Niger State Police Command's Public Relations Officer, SP Wasiu Abiodun, is yet to confirm the incident. Now, the lead trust reporter in the state, Abubakar Akote, is joining us via phone call to give us an update. Good evening, Akote.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us tonight on the News Hour. Now, what more have you been able to learn of this devastating attack?
The first and foremost, the attack that has been happening in the last 3 days in villages in Shoro local government have been very devastating. And we learned from the victims that the attacks that happened between Friday and yesterday, where 2 of the victims were beheaded, that it was carried out by terrorists believed to be members of Boko Haram, and that the victims who were killed on Friday and yesterday, we are invited, or we are captured to be recruited to join the terrorist group, and they resisted the membership. That was what led to that heinous killing, beheading, and some of them were slaughtered according to what the victims, the residents told us. That was so far what we have learned about the attack, an attempt to recruit more members, and the villagers resisted the invitation, and are leading to such kind of killings.
All right, so now the security situation in those areas, how volatile is it?
The security situation in the area is getting out of hand on a daily basis. It has created a tension because the humanitarian crisis in Erina, the only safe IDP camps now in the Lakma axis, is deteriorating because of more number of villagers that are leaving their communities now to Erina IDP camp. And they complain, IDPs complain lack of food, lack of adequate shelter, because the classrooms there are not sufficient to accommodate them. Only few of them have relations here that they are staying with. It's not been easy in the last few days for the villagers that have fled their homes to Erina.
All right, now, quickly, just before you go, can you tell us if the police have confirmed this incident?
Pardon?
Could you tell us if the police have confirmed this incident?
The police confirmation?
Yes, please.
Even the last report I did, I tried to reach out to Niger State Police Command. They promised to revert their details, and after waiting for several hours, they didn't. So I had to file in my report. And there was something from Niger State government, and the silence from authorities now that is creating more tension, because as of today, we saw some youth in the area who took to say their social media handles having been silent for a while, to say that they will no longer be silent, because looking at the Niger State proximity with Abuja, they expected the federal government prompt response And even if there's no response, at least with the killings that have been reported on a daily basis, there should be the kind of words of consolation from authorities, both the federal and state. But that is not forthcoming, which is giving the residents another source of concern.
All right, thank you so much, Abubakar Okotie, for joining us tonight on the News Hour, giving us an update on the Niger attacks. Thank you so much. Please stay safe. Now, over in Kaduna State, the police command has said its operatives have arrested 2 suspected bandits and car thieves, as well as other criminal elements across the state. The state command's public relations officer, Mansur Hassan, said the operations happened in different locations of the state. According to the command spokesman, operatives of the command first intercepted a suspect, one Babangida Sani, around the ancient city of Zaria in the state. Similarly, acting on a tip-off, according to the police spokesman, operatives recovered 2 abandoned vehicles in the Mogadishu area of the state. According to him, further investigation led to the arrest of all of them indigenes of Zamfara state. Silent security over in Katsina State. The police command has said it has thwarted a kidnapping attempt, rescued all kidnapped victims, mostly women, and neutralized 3 suspected notorious bandits. The spokesman for the command, ASP Abubakar Sadiq, in a statement on Saturday noted that information was received on Friday at about 19:23 GMT at the Sabuwa Divisional Police Headquarters that armed bandits in their numbers, wielding dangerous weapons, attacked Duya Village, Maibako Ward in Sabuwa local government area and kidnapped several women. He said upon receipt of the report, the DPO, Sabuwa Divisional Headquarters, CSP Aliyu Mustafa, in collaboration with members of the vigilante, mobilized a team of operatives to the scene. The State Police Commissioner Aliyu Abubakar Musa, while commending the operatives for their exceptional display of bravery and gallantry, reiterated the command's commitment towards ensuring the safety and security of the good people of the state. Over in Kano State, enemies of Kano distracted the government for 1 year, according to Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, leader of the Kwankwasia movement and the presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party. Kwankwaso expressed concern over how the opposition distracted the Kano State government for an entire year during the declaration of the state of emergency on education in Kano State. He praised Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf for his resilience in not allowing these distractions to hinder his performance.
And obstacles after obstacles, we all know what happened and what is happening in this state. Yet the governor is moving. In fact, that reminds me of our situation during my second term. I was sworn in on 29th of May 2011. Few months after, we had a Boko Haram attack in Kano. Attack in mosques, attacks in markets, in police stations, on the roads, in the schools, everywhere. Yet we are focused, we ensure that we are not distracted. So Governor, congratulations for making sure that you are not being distracted.
Still in Kano on Saturday, Governor Yusuf declared a state of emergency on education and announced the employment of 5,632 teachers under the Better Education Service Delivery for All BESTA program, a World Bank initiative aimed at increasing equitable access for out-of-school children in Nigeria and improving literacy in focus states. The governor also stated his intention to improve the student-to-teacher ratio across the state to prevent situations where more than 400 schools in one senatorial zone had only one teacher for all classes, a problem inherited from the previous administration. He further lamented the decayed condition of the educational infrastructure.
How can we help to nurture the next generation of scientists and engineers when the very environment in which they are meant to learn arrive with inadequacies and deficiencies. My fellow compatriots, let us not be swayed by temptation to assign blame solely to this administration. The state of education in Kano has reached a narrow and not a recent phenomenon. Rather, it is a culmination of 8 years of neglect and mismanagement by the previous administration. The neglect was systematically and deliberately affecting every facet of the education system, from infrastructure to curriculum development, and from teacher welfare to students' outcomes. I stand before you to announce a formal declaration of state of emergency in the education sector.
Now, President Bola Tinubu has urged stakeholders in the Federal Capital Territory to pursue compensation and not litigation to resolve land disputes in the nation's capital. The president stated this when he commissioned the Guzape Lot 2 infrastructure project in Abuja on Saturday. He said the completion of the project was testament to what could be achieved through diligent planning, collaboration, and shared commitment to excellence. The president commended the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, for delivering on the infrastructure renewal promises of the federal government to the people of the FCT. The president also urged the stakeholders in the FCT to pursue dialogue and instead of litigation to resolve land disputes.
And the district head of Guzape, or representing the district head, litigation is not the answer. Conversation is the answer. Development that is focused on the people for the economic prosperity, the benefits of a whole. Is what should reside in us. Of what value is the land that is blocked by these high hill mountains and rocks that you can access? Now provide drinkable water. Talk to our people. And whenever you need us, talk to our representatives, bring us together to help build Nigeria.
It has been over a year since President Bola Tinubu announced the removal of the subsidy on petroleum products in Nigeria. While Nigerians are expected to accept the subsidy removal, the dynamics around the sale and purchase of petroleum products remain problematic. Makurdi residents believe that a controlled price from marketers would significantly help. Jimmy Azande tells us more.
Nigeria's over-reliance on petroleum resources has long been forewarned as a recipe for a turbulent future. This appears to be the case now, as residents, particularly ordinary Nigerians, lament daily about their struggles.
But here in Nigeria, every day you wake up, they decide to go up. So it has not been easy for we who are poor people to cope. But the big man there did not know how we are suffering.
It's just before tomorrow today to come and buy. When you come to buy, you see a price, different price, because the thing did not have fixed price. So filling station you go, they are selling 690. Some are selling 700. some are selling 750. So no fixed price. Most filling stations they have where they will not sell.
Despite the challenges, Nigerians in both urban and rural areas have adapted to relying on petroleum products. The premium motor spirit has become essential for most Nigerians, regardless of social class, primarily for transportation purposes and its universal use across sectors of the Nigerian economy.
Yes, because we don't even know what is happening. We learned that the subsidy has been removed or whether it's still there. We cannot even tell what is happening because nobody is talking about it. So we don't know what is happening. They should just come to our aid. The suffering is too much.
The vehicle is consuming about 15 liters before you move from a lady and then to and fro. So it is not easy. Like now, all the cars in the park, they are not even loading. People are not even coming because of the difficulty.
The question on the lips of many Nigerians is, will these hard times ever come to an end? While labor unions protest for living wages, those without jobs and those working in the private sector worry about the escalating cost of living crisis in the country. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Over in Katsina, residents are lamenting the frequent failures of one of the nation's largest telecom providers, especially in the Asian city, saying it has affected their entire businesses. A cross-section of residents are concerned about the disruptions which often occur without prior notice or apologies from network providers, causing significant losses to their businesses. Abdullah Yamadi tells us more.
Dear customer, the MTN number you have dialed is currently switched off. Please try again later. Thank you. Dear customer, the MTN number you have dialed is currently switched off. Please try again later. Thank you.
Indeed, network failures which have become frequent in Katsina have brought significant setbacks to the economy and social well-being of Katsina residents, according to some stakeholders. Although the Katsina State House of Assembly has deliberated on the issue and mandated its Committee on Information to summon officials for a briefing, residents believe that disciplinary measures should be taken to serve as deterrent.
The problem we are facing in Nigeria is just one. We don't have law that forbids any wrongdoings. You see, most of us are suffering seriously because majority of people are using MTN, and their failure for 1 second cripples many businesses. Like, okay, look at my business now. We depend on internet because it's cashless society. And by the time you now look at failure for 1 second, a lot of things have, been damaged.
There was a time that we will try to send a report through some of these mobile network platforms like Telegram or WhatsApp to meet deadline because news has a specific time. So due to this network failure, we couldn't get this, and sometimes some news have to be kept, and in essence, some of them become stale.
Cut-off of MTN network services has been causing a lot of damages, not only in the caliber of civil servants, but also the whole dimension of humanitarian activities. There has been a lot of damages on the economic setup of our small traders, petty traders, even the bigger or the giant traders. It has done a lot of damages.
Aliu Abubakar Al-Baba, a member of the State Assembly representing Katsina local government and a member of the Information Committee, said they were compelled by the frequency of the network failures to act swiftly.
It was resolved that the Committee on Information shall be mandated to invite the MTN stakeholders and find out the true situation and why we are facing these network problems, as it is affecting not only business, also social and moral activities of our people are deteriorating. I promise you, and I promise the public, inshallah, as soon as we came back from the recess, inshallah, we'll continue the deliberation and we'll find out, and we'll let the whole people know why and how this thing is happening, inshallah.
The residents are hopeful that the intervention of the State Assembly will yield positive results, calling on the lawmakers to always take issues affecting their constituents more seriously. Public commentators in Katsina are calling on all network providers to ensure consistency and avoid actions detrimental to the socio-economic well-being of the people. They are also appealing to the government to be mindful of issues that could cause damage to the state's economy. Abdullahi Izumayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Cost of living stories. We start with Bauchi, where traditional barbers have decried low patronage amidst high cost of living while demanding government's intervention to cushion the effects of hardship. Adamu Imam has more.
Traditional activities has a long-term history and could be traced through cultural inhalation, moral values as well as native medicines care to the teeming populace. A community in Bauchi metropolis have expressed fear over extinction of their traditional barbing business and other services usually rendered by them to members of the community. We are still voicing out our appeal. They should help us and consider our work as we are part of the society. At least anything worth doing, or even through our handwork of barbing and shaving. I think if the government can incorporate us full-scale business, we will be happy. By so, people of different communities we rendered work, they will see us as special service provider. However, some of the people that usually patronize them said they also serve as native Medicare consultant for their family members. Any situation that comes, we try to accept it in good faith. But the way I understand patronizing this traditional barber is far better than the modern way of barbing saloon, because these traditional ones we have known since are translating our moral values and encourage our culture and our old identity by extension as well. This barber, Trakin Aska, I have confidence whenever I need to barb my hair. I always patronize him, even at home, with or without money, because we have been engaging them for the services they render to us at any time. When I come to them to barb my hair, I feel confident and relaxed, without any stress. When we get some cash at hand, we patronize them. That's how we get their services around us. They appeal to the authority to recognize them as social service providers in the state, considering the significant role they play in various communities. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Now we move down south, where economic and hardship and poor electricity condition across the country is no doubt one of the major reasons why businesses are failing. In Imo State and southeastern part of the country, some welders said their businesses have slowed down due to the economic hardship caused by the ongoing reforms. Here's the report.
Most of the welders in the state are lamenting over the high cost of materials, especially steels. The said prices of materials has increased by over 100%.
You can see the way we are doing this work. Before, if you go to a market, you can buy, example now, this pan now, before you can get it at least cheaper price. When you got it, go to market to buy it, at least you're able to achieve some certain things on it. But now, everything is very, very cost. You can't even, before you buy the pan, go there and buy diesel and buy retro and buy things, material, things are very hard for the country.
Lots of material, the importer said that the government added 16 million, 19 million for one container. And so before they clear one container now, so they will pay an addition of 19 million. So when they come back, they will put that money into that material. It will now make the material to be more expensive. So that's it. So if government can remove all those things.
They equally expressed total dissatisfaction over the poor power supply, as many of them have to rely on generator. This, they said, is impacting on cost of production.
So now everything just, the country, my brother, the country don't have for now. Even gas, they buy the rate of 1 liter before, 1,000 now, 1,500, 1,700. And the things now need to be not work need to be.
Material is cost. So, and we are managing ourselves small, and there is no work like that. So that people is coming based on price.
They called on the state and federal governments to implement policies that will bring them out of the present difficult conditions. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
This is the news hour on Trust TV. Still to come. Expert warns of health risks associated with uncontrolled use of headphones. More when we return. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us and just joining us. The news hour on Trust TV. A recap of our top stories. Panic as bandits strike again, kill 7 in fresh Niger attack. Also told you that 3 bandits were killed in Katsina and victims rescued. To more story. Residents of Babale community in Jos local government area of Plateau State have voiced their support for the federal government's initiative for full local government autonomy. They believe that restoring full autonomy to local governments will foster development in villages and communities, rather than having state governments dictate local affairs. Ado Musa tells us more.
Nigeria has 774 local governments, but their administration has been stifled by the overbearing influence of state governors. Concerned about this situation, the federal government, through the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, filed a suit with the Supreme Court seeking an order to better guarantee the independence of local governments. Residents of Babale community in Josno local government area, like many other Nigerians, have expressed their support for this move. They cite the lack of significant development in their area for decades as a key reason for backing the federal government's effort to ensure local government autonomy.
Take a long time that this development has happened in this community. It's take a long time, truly. My own suggestion is, truly we need federal government to give the local government this autonomy, because of truly when you see our facility, our health facility here is very poor. It's very poor. We do not have health workers. We don't have equipment in this area. We don't have employment in these communities. That is why we need to look. Many our women here, they are dying silently. They are dying because of what? Lack of health workers, lack of equipment, lack of health facilities entirely in this community, because of we did not have what? Good equipment in this area.
When there was full local government autonomy some years ago, we used to enjoy a lot of things. Schools and primary health care were well equipped because we could take our complaints to local government council and quickly attended to. But today, we don't enjoy it anymore because the autonomy is no longer there. Our hospital and school are completely deteriorated. For the past 2 decades, I have never seen any developmental project by the local government. All the social amenities we enjoy today were executed by the then military regime. We're supposed to enjoy the dividend of democracy because local government is closer to us than the state government, but this is not happening. The residents believe that the local government autonomy will bring much needed progress to their community.
Yes, we are calling for federal government. We are telling them to, if they can hear our voice, if they can agree with us, they can join their hand with our local government and give them what is needed to them, so that they will support us here in this our area and in this our communities.
Daga inda aka ce in dai impact da zai taba talakawa, wallahi babu kaman
in giving back the autonomy to local government. We will be very happy because we will have our hospitals, schools equipped, and other social amenities will be provided.
Wannan yunkuri da gwamnatin tarayya take so ta yi, wannan yana da kyau. Yawa na ba ma local government gashin kanta din nan yana da kyau.
I believe that if local government election is conducted by INEC and fundament for the local government is given directly to the elected chairman, we are likely to experience development in our various communities, because the chairman will have total control over the fund. Nigerians are now waiting to see whether the federal government is going to win the battle to secure full local government autonomy for the growth and development of the third tier of government whose powers have been truncated for years. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Residents of Tedelashe, Imole, and a few other communities in Maidon Orile, located in Ikusi local government area of Lagos State, have called on the state government to repair the collapsed pedestrian bridge which links the communities to major cities in the state. Here's the report.
The residents who expressed displeasure over the poor condition of the communities says the absence of the pedestrian bridges have forced hundreds of them to cross the canal daily, using two rickety jetties which pose threats to human health.
One of the major challenges, which we are always bothered about, is imagine you want to cross a pregnant woman, how difficult it will be. Imagine a pregnant woman who's gone into labor at 2 a.m., 1 a.m. That would be very difficult for her, because at that time you have to now call the people who are running the engines, who are running the boats, to come out, and it's a very, very, very serious issue. We have had a series of people who have lost their lives, who probably before we got to the health center or to the hospital, they lost their lives. Now, if you had a health center in this community, it should have been better. There is no health center in this community. It's so bad that we don't have a single health center. We are having promises that they will give us a health center, they will give us a primary school, but for over 30 years that this community has existed, there's none like that. So these are a few things that I can put together to say that we need bridge. We need the government interference in this community.
We implore the government to do something about it for us, because all our at times we have issues of theft. They snatch our phones, our properties. Maybe before you wake up in the next morning, your generator and all those stuffs. So, and including our animals, we have some people that have cattle, poultry, and all that. So before you wake up in the morning, all those things, they are gone. And these are some of the things that people use in sustaining themselves. So we just implore the government to help us do something about it, as in the security. So it's very important, so that we can have peace of mind. We have elderly people, we have children, we have young, we have many people in this community. So just implore the government to help us do something about it.
I have been here for over 19 years since I lost my husband. I am suffering. Since the bridge collapsed, I cannot pass through it because I have fallen down at one point, which took me to the hospital, and I do not have money to buy drugs. This collapsed bridge is giving us problems, and I do not have money to relocate to another place. I seek help from the government.
3 years ago, there's a lady or a woman who took it. He lost on this transit because of he lost on the sea. But the community order is that when you lost something, you don't need to announce it. But we are appealing to government that they should come to our aid, come and help us. We are suffering. People are governing us in these people. They are the demon people. Please, and please, and please, I appeal to the government. If you are in this stake, please come and assist us.
Apart from the collapsed footbridge, they said their communities lack basic amenities like primary health care center and primary schools.
As part of efforts to address the issue of insecurity in the country, Nigerians are urging the federal government to increase the strength of the police force rather than allowing each state to have its own police. They said state police may be abused by the governors. Bitola Tokolo's report is presented from our studio.
The issue of insecurity in Nigeria has continually assumed insurmountable. The number of violent crimes such as kidnapping, killing, ethnic clashes, armed robbery, religious killings, and many more have become regular occurrence. Nigerians say that adopting state policing to tackle insecurity is good, but fear that the state governors might exploit such a system for their own political gains.
State governors and their house assemblies will use it as a weapon against other politicians who are not in the system. In fact, the point of state policing, the state governors will use state policing to create one political party in the country. In fact, I am really against state policing because it will create havoc in the whole nation. If we have a centralized policing, just like the way it is now, that is the best for Nigeria. With true federalism, when we have true federalism, we will enjoy Nigerian police.
Governors definitely, because they have a tendency to abuse the information of the idea of state police. When they have access to state police, they are likely to abuse it. My panacea is that the federal government to strengthen the Nigerian police force. We train many, create more divisions, employ many, recruit many rather, in a manner that particularly they should be trained and their numbers increased. That way, the issue of insecurity can be curtailed.
How many states are able to pay the minimum wage of 30,000? So when you employ those ones and they cannot pay, it becomes a problem in the society. That's my concern. That's my worry. So we have to be very careful, and they have to be well remunerated. The moment you harm them, they are not well remunerated. It becomes a problem for the society.
In Nigeria, while I will always support the state police, is that it will go down to the root to tackle the issue of insecurity. I give you an example. A man from Anambra State, what did he know about Gambo in Borno State? But believe me, if Borno is allowed to have a state police, a native of Borno know every one of each of them, and they can go as far as tackling the security easily because one, the language barrier, which is one, cultural shift, and the cultural differences as well. And you cannot shy away from language. Communication is very key, the security.
They advised Nigerian government to apply proper checks and balances before adopting such legislation.
Using technological gadgets can be satisfying and risky at the same time, especially as modern society relies heavily on new innovations to maximize productivity. One such innovation that has become a part of everyday life for some people is headphones that come in different shapes and sizes. An expert has cautioned against uncontrolled usage, which can result in health problems. Trust TV's Bello Musa has more for us in this report.
Ear is an important organ in the human body that helps to hear sound. However, aside deafness or hearing complications, persistent environmental noise pollution could lead to damage in the ear cells.
The cochlea is the inner part of the ear because the ear has what we call the outer part, the middle part, and the inner part. So once there is a very loud sound that gets into the cochlea has some cells. We call them outer and inner hair cells. So those sounds, hair cells, once there is a loud sound, they tend to be damaged. So once they are damaged, their ability to transfer sound to the brain is impaired, and then subsequently it leads to what we call noise-induced hearing loss.
As a tool for pleasure, headphones is commonly used among the youths of today. Experts say the effect of close sound is hazardous to the hearing.
One thing about noise-induced hearing loss is that it depends, as I've said, on the decibel you are exposed, and then also the time that you are exposed. We don't want people to be exposed to sounds above 80 decibel for more than 8 hours in a day. If you shorten the time exposure, then you allow for recovery of the cells. So that's, it depends on you know, when you put hearing device in your ear, it's a very closed environment when you put. So depending on how loud you put that sound, and then also depending on the number of hours that you allow it to work. If it is a very small sound that is not that is comfortable to the ear and is not affecting the inner hair cells, then it's okay. But if you put it and it's loud to the ear to the extent that it's affecting the hair cells, then subsequently with time you will see it, and then that's why
the ENT consultant also advised people to use device that could control the level of noise that goes into the air.
Definitely, you cannot prevent yourself from exposing to noise, but wherever you are going, or if you have your job entails that there is going to be noise exposure for a very long time, then you should use what we call air plugs or air muff to reduce the amount of sound that is there. And then also, you should reduce the number of hours that you expose yourself to noise. Let's say if you are constantly maybe in the where you expose to more than 8 hours in a day, if you don't have the facility to cover the noise, to put the air muff or air plug or anything, then reduce the number of hours that you are exposed to that noise. And then also, if it is possible, you can put what we call insulators to cover either if it is a machine or anything that generates. And then also the other thing.
It said that studies by researchers suggest that game sound levels often near or exceed permissible safe limits constitute danger to human health. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Let's do well to take the advice in that report and protect our ears and reduce noise pollution. Now, over 10 Nigerian teenage girls allegedly trafficked to Ghana for prostitution have been rescued. The chairperson of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Nidkama Biket Dabiri Erewa, said the girls were rescued by the Nigerians in Diaspora Organization NIDO, an umbrella association for Nigerians living in Ghana. The girls, all under the age of 18, were reportedly lured from Nigeria to Ghana by an unidentified man who has now been arrested by the police in neighboring West African country. In a viral video which showed the girls after they were rescued, a NIDO member said that they just rescued all of them from one single person. Innocent Nigerian children that were brought here to do what they wouldn't have wished to do. And over to business. Nigerian struggles with transparency and corruption is reflected on the Open Budget Survey scores for transparency, 19 over 100 for public participation and 61 over 100 for institutional oversight. Now ranked 92nd overall, Nigeria's score falls below the global average of 45, placing it behind Cameroon, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Sierra Leone and Benin. These scores highlight significant issues in Nigeria's budgetary transparency and accountability. Now, Chamo Debeng tells us more in this report.
95% of the world's population resides in 125 countries, which were assessed for the 2023 survey. The budgets included in the survey totaled about $33.5 trillion in spending for the fiscal year of 2022. Nigeria achieved an overall ranking of 92 out of 125 countries, with scores of 31 out of 100 in transparency, 19 out of 100 in public participation, and 61 out of 100 in institutional oversight.
So if we look at the key issues that drove that decline in transparency, it was actually more about the timeliness in putting out those 8 key budget documents on government websites, because those documents have to be online. So that means that they have to be online for people to be able to access them. They have to be in a machine readable format, especially for those documents where, for example, you're trying to look at numbers, so that it's easy for you to download that information and analyze it. And the information has to be comprehensive. And so we found out that for Nigeria, although a lot of those documents are produced, we have the Fiscal Responsibility Act that tells government how and when to produce these documents. Unfortunately, they were not placed on the government website in time to meet the requirements of the open budget survey. So I think for me, that's encouraging in the sense that these reports are produced. We just have to ensure that we put them out as quickly as possible, because you also find out that, in fact, the requirements of the Fiscal Responsibility Act are even more stringent in terms of the timelines for putting those documents out.
The primary cause of Nigeria's disappointing performance is the government's inability to promptly publish mid-year and annual reports online and adopt creative public participation strategies. However, economist Stephen Wachuku has a different take.
Yes, it also shows that Nigeria needs to improve in the sense that we should be better than Zambia's, Cameroon's, and other smaller African countries who perhaps have a better ranking, showing that they run an open government, they run a participatory government, the citizens are involved, and the layers of accountability measures are also put on check or being practiced in those countries. So we need to do a lot to at least rank around 110, 115, which should be better for Nigeria than somewhere less than 90 or around 90. Yes, it's poor of us, quite poor of us, that other smaller Africans that should be looking and imitating us at the practice of democracy is seeing something less. We are not open in governance. We are not participatory in getting the citizens and population involved in the governance. We are not also showing some level of accountability, even in that very budget implementation and budget formulation itself. So
accountable and inclusive public budgeting is urgently needed, according to the 2023 Open Budget Survey. To improve fiscal transparency and accountability, Nigerians demand that the government promptly publish fiscal documents and involve citizens in the budgetary process. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Still in business, Nigeria and Benin Republic have agreed on a single entry declaration form for border crossings between the two countries, announced by the Nigeria Customs Service. Here now, Ernest Ojike, the Kebbi area controller of NCS, revealed this after a closed-door meeting between NCS officials and representatives from Benin Republic held in Angoa-Sulewara, a border town in Benin Republic, on Saturday. During the press briefing, Ernest Ojike recounted that this decision follows a prior meeting on May 21, where the foreign ministers of Nigeria and Benin Republic discussed bilateral matters aimed at enhancing the smooth flow of trade and commerce between the two nations. He further explained that the two countries would establish a joint border agency inspection for goods and persons, stating it is going to be a one-stop border post at the Segbana border, in quotes. Now, according to the International Monetary Fund's latest data, Nigeria's inflation rate is expected to stabilize at 14% by 2029, potentially marking the end of the current upward trend. This projection brings relief amidst concerns over the rising inflation rate, which stood at 33.69% as of April 2024, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. IMF data suggests a gradual decline in the inflation rate from 23% in 2025 to 16% in 2026, 15.4% in 2027, and 14% in both 2028 and 2029. This predicted stabilization is a welcome development for the Nigerian economy. Another foreign thing, about 60 people have been killed in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo during several attacks by an affiliate of the Islamic State terrorist group, authorities said on Saturday. The attacks took place in Beni, a territory in the province of North Kivu. A Red Cross source in Kinshasa said that around 60 bodies have been taken in, while others are lying on the ground in areas that are still unsafe. The terrorists released shocking videos and photos of bound bodies of victims floating on the Lulu River in Beni territory. Gov said the attacks were carried out by Allied Democratic Forces, ADF rebels. Still on the foreign, at least 25 people were killed during terrorist attacks on 4 army bases in central Somalia on Saturday, officials have confirmed. Somali Army spokesman Abubakar Muhammad Hassan said that the Al-Shabaab group carried out a massive assault from different directions in the LGA district with suicide bombers and heavily armed militants. Hassan said that the country's international partners supported the army in the air. Although he did not name which foreign powers were involved in Saturday's airstrikes, Turkey and the US routinely provide military support to the Somali army. And it's time for sports with Adeniyi Ajishafe.
Nigerian speedster Tima Goblets have secured her automatic qualification spot in the women's 200-meter event for Paris 2024 Olympics after running 22.56 seconds at the National Collegiate of American Athletics NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships in Eugene, Oregon. Goblets' time was a personal best and automatic Olympic qualifying standard of 22.57 for the women's 200 meters. In May, Goblets qualified for women's 100-meter event to become the first double automatic qualifier for Paris Olympics from Nigeria. A total of 13 Nigerian athletes have qualified for various individual track and field events at the 2024 Olympics. In addition to the individual qualifications, Nigeria has also secured spots in the men's 4x100 meters and 4x400 meter relay, women's 4x100 meter and men's 4x400 meter relay event at the Paris Olympics. 2024 Olympic Games will be held in Paris, France from 26 July to 11 August. With track and field events to take place from August 1st to 11th. And in football, the 2020-2024 Nigerian Women Football League NWFL Premiership winners, Edo Queens, will begin their quest to qualify for the 4th edition of the CAF Women's Champions League when the West African Zone B qualifiers takes place in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire in August. Wafubi announced the venue and date for 2024 Women's Champions League qualifiers as the 4th edition of the Wafubi qualifying tournament of the Women's Champions League will be held from 10th August to 23rd in Côte d'Ivoire. Champions from 7 countries of the Wafubi zone comprise of Benin Republic, Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Niger Republic, Nigeria and Togo will battle for the slot to the finals. The final of Wafubi Women's Champions League qualifier in the last 3 years have been a Nigeria versus Ghana affair, with Ghana winning 2 of the 3 editions. In 2021, at the maiden Wafubi Women's Champions League qualifiers, Rivers Angel representing Nigeria reached the final where they lost to Ghanaian side Asaka's Ladies. Bayelsa Queens won the 2nd edition of the Wafubi Women's Champions League qualifiers after a 3-0 win over another Ghanaian side, Ampel Dakoa, in Côte d'Ivoire, while Ampel Dakoa edged Nigerian Delta Queens 1-0 to win 2023 edition. Côte d'Ivoire has hosted 2 of the past 3 editions of the Wafubi Women's Champions League qualifiers in 2021 and 2022, while Benin City, Nigeria, stayed the last edition in 2023. Dark Sport News, I'm Adeniyi Ajishafe.
And that's a wrap of News Hour tonight on Trust TV. For more of our news, documentaries and programs, please do all to follow us on all our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. On behalf of the news production team, thank you for joining us tonight.